Tonight on Geek Tank, Calvin and Hobbes, the Lego Movie, and the origin of Geek Tank. Geek Tank! Geek Tank! Geek Tank! Geek Tank!
Geek Tank.
Geek Tank!
Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. You got just one ring that'll rule them all. Hoopy fruit, remember your towel. Get your Uru hammers and your needler guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel if it'll get you to come to the Geek Tank. To the Geek Tank, the Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Hi there, I'm Guy,
I'm Troy.
and this is Geek Tank for July 2nd, 2014. On tonight's show, we're going to talk a little bit about why Geek Tank. Sounds like a good thing. We also have a couple of reviews for you. And another episode of Springs, because I thought that was pretty cool. And I
should.
enjoyed it.
You
Yeah, I
made
did. But first, it's working for the Geekin'.
Working for the Geekins, it's the part where I tell you about stuff that's coming up in the future. And actually talking about some stuff that's happening today. But first, movies that came out today. Earth to Echo, a kids movie. Looks like a rehash of E.T. the Extraterrestrial because you have something coming from space. Kids need to help it get back to its home or put back together or something. I haven't seen it yet. So there, that's coming out. If you have kids, it might be worth it. Something not for kids, another movie coming out called Deliver Us from Evil. Sounds pretty interesting. It starts out as kind of a police drama and then turns into a supernatural gore fest. I don't know how gory it is. I'm just making that up. But it's I heard it's pretty interesting, and it has some like a 4-minute knife fight in it is one of the reviews I heard.
4-minute knife.
4-minute knife fight.
Okay.
That sounds like something I could get behind. All right. Also, today at my favorite movie theater, the Alamo Drafthouse, July 2nd, they're doing at 7 p.m. tonight a free outdoor movie of the Lego Movie, which happens to be one of our reviews tonight. Woohoo! Yay! And Thursday the 3rd, 7 p.m., they're showing the 30th anniversary new restoration of Stop Making Sense, the Talking Heads film, concert film. I have that on DVD. It's actually really cool. And
Does it make sense?
It does.
Oh.
They just don't stop making sense. Friday at 9, they're also showing that at Friday at 9:30. And Saturday the 5th at 7 p.m., Team America's World Police, which is done by Colorado's own Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who did South Park. And Sunday at 7 p.m., The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, with a classic 1966 film. And
And for my friend James, it was a hard day's night. Okay, I'm done.
I guess he likes that. And a week from today, Wednesday, July 9th, the free outdoor movie is going to be Big at 7 p.m., which I find interesting because I mentioned Big last show when we were talking about Transformers, because I'm Big. He's doing the sales pitch. And
He's big on transforming buildings.
Buildings to robots. Well, he says that's stupid because you can't play with a building. But video games, there wasn't really a lot of video games coming out this week that I was all that interested in, so I kind of just like, meh.
You just kind of skipped it.
Kind of skipped it. So if there's a video
Tetris
game you're
7,
looking forward to this
something
week,
like
I
that.
apologize for not being interested in the game that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And that's this Geekin' this week. Upcoming. This Weeky Geek.
Geekin'.
The Leaking Geek if he's got
no.
a bad bladder.
Yeah, sometimes
Problem.
that happens. We don't talk about those
You
stuff.
can depend on him. So,
It's true.
So you've got something pretty awesome you wanted to show people.
Yes.
That relates to what you're doing as an artist.
I do indeed. As you all know, I work on the Springs comic, which you can find at springscomic.com. And I'm a big comic fan, strip comic mostly, not necessarily your classic, like a Captain America comic.
Right.
I'm a big strip comic fan. And one of the things that I just finished reading, and it took me a couple of years, was
Slow reader.
I'm a slow reader, but this is the complete Calvin. This is the complete Calvin and Hobbes set, and it's actually all of the strips that he ever did, and it's an amazingly beautiful bound volume. I mean, it's a box set.
This is
with-
clearly the collector's edition.
This is the collector's edition, and it's it's got 3 huge volumes. They really are tough. What I like about it is it's hardbound, and all the pages are, of course, they're beautifully well, they're all in color. All the pages are in color. I know that it sounds funny since I'm on a black and white page. However, obviously, when you have the Sundays on there. But this is every single strip that he did. And down here on the bottom of the page, it has the date that these were published. So it says July 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 1987 here. And this, of course, says, July 19th, 1987. And I was noticing that even the black and white pages, they're in color here because you can see that the strips are white, but the page is slightly off-white. And it's got little, what looks like imperfections, almost like they took a picture of his drawing board, as if this was, strapped to his board as he did it.
When I used to cut out my favorite strips and keep my own collection of them. And
Yeah.
Calvin and Hobbes was one of them. Cut them out and use the Elmer's glue to glue them on.
To glue them all together.
Yeah, 3-ring binder
It
pages.
sort of looks like that too. But I love. I mean, if nothing else, as an artist, my strip has been getting better and better as I practice. It's hard doing these things regularly, every day, and making sure you pull them off on time and get them out in the correct time and everything like that. And so, I have a lot of respect for these guys who pull 7 days a week, and they'll do these things. I mean, Charles Schultz once said that he'd get up every morning and he'd spend 2 hours writing these things.
Yeah, for me, for Charles Schultz, it's one of those things where as you got older, you begin to, if you follow the strip, you're like,
You can
I
see
saw
his
this,
hands are
Joe.
wiggling. Yeah.
Where's the humor in this?
And he was, he did all something like 17,000 strips.
If you're really bored, read just the first 3 panels and skip the last panel.
Yeah, that's always a fun one. It makes it a little more surreal.
Super depressing.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing. So, as we all know, Watterson ultimately he retired. And he retired, and I read the last strip, and it was really sad and very poignant. I recommend everybody read that. He retired, but he came out of retirement just a couple of months ago to do Pearls Before Swine.
I think I sent you that link.
Yes, you did. You did.
that.
Stephen Pastis's strip, and Stephen Pastis just wrote to him out of the blue.
Well, he
and
did it was his strip, I believe, that he wrote, where he goes up to this girl. It's his character in the strip goes up to a girl in a bar and says, "I'm a really famous comic," and she's like, "Well, what have you done?" And he thinks for a second, and he says, "You ever read Calvin and Hobbes?" And
Right.
so
And he feels bad about that.
He feels bad about
And so
lying.
it encouraged him to write to Bill Watterson. And he said, I didn't expect anything. And what did he get? He actually got a reply. And Bill's like, you know what? I want to do that. And so there's a set of about 4 strips of Pearls Before Swine where Bill Watterson guest wrote the interior middle panels.
as like a 12
As like a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And of course, the 6-year-old girl, of course, is writing and saying, I can do better comic strips than you. Look! And she writes these better comic strips that are, of course, written by Bill Watterson, who is classic. I mean, he blows all of us away. Nobody's got the skills like Bill Watterson. So it's
If
just
I remember
exquisite.
correctly, the little girl's name Libby, which
Yeah.
was Bill backward, or Lib, which is Bill backwards.
Right, this is Bill backwards. So, So anyway, the set is expensive. It's about $200. But it's worth every dime, every single strip. I mean, every single one. And it's amazing to see the transition of Watterson as an artist and him growing. You can see Calvin getting cleaner and a better design. He's consolidation of the character. Hobbes gets much more consolidated as a character. You can see the development. And the last book you can see starting at about April of the last year, 1995. You can see he's starting to lose it. He's getting more cynical. His strips are getting a little more. You can see him going, yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And you can read it. It's clear in there. It's like a story. And I love that. I love these collections when you can read the whole thing like that. So, yeah, that's Calvin and Hobbes.
Which appeals to people that are roughly in their teenage and on years, and it also appeals to kids. My kids love Calvin and Hobbes. They also love Legos.
Legos, which brings us to our second thing. It's the Lego movie. Woo! Everything is awesome.
Yeah, as some parents are as sick of that song as they are the Let It Go song from Frozen.
Yeah,
but-
everything is let it go.
Which I'm into the Lego movie, so I'm not sick of the song yet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten sick of it either.
This,
And I think that the in jokes help.
It does, and especially if you're a big fan of just having Legos and dealing with Legos, you will get a lot of the stuff that they're
I think
saying
so,
in
too.
that. And it's this is the set that comes as the Blu-ray DVD digital HD set, so
Yep,
it has
it's
all
my
of
copy.
those. And then I did not bring mine with me tonight, but I bought the extra special set that comes with the 3D
We'll show it.
Emmett head And the special Vitruvius Lego figure before he goes blind, a little minifig guy
Which
in
is
there.
just awesome.
And that's why I went ahead and decided I'm going to go ahead and get the special
Morgan
one.
Freeman's character.
Yep.
Like I said, that guy could just read the phone book, and I just sit there and listen and go, that's just incredible.
Well, he's so popular that people make up memes and give him credit for it, and people believe it because that's how awesome he is.
I like the one that says, you're reading this in my voice.
Because
you are. You're reading that, and you just hear him saying stuff. And then they just add funny words that I can't say because we're a family-oriented show. But
That's
you can
Morgan
imagine him
Freeman's
saying it in Morgan Freeman's voice. So
it's definitely a cool movie. And
it really is.
If you're seeing this before 7 o'clock tonight and you are within driving distance of the Alamo Draft House
Highly
on
recommend
Santa
it.
Fe, you can go see it free because they're doing it as the free movie tonight.
Yeah.
It's tonight as in Tuesday, July 2nd. If you're
Yeah.
watching this on a later date, too bad.
you're out of luck. You'll need that DeLorean again. So I actually brought out my Lego minifigs that I've been collecting over the years, and these guys are, I mean, some of these guys are circa 1978. I mean, they're really...
You've had these for a long time.
I've had these for a very long time. And I brought, one of the things I love is Benny. Benny's clearly my favorite
Yeah.
character in the entire thing, him and his spaceship.
Cover.
But what I love about Benny, the
there it is.
minifig
There's Benny.
that they've made for Benny, his helmet is broken,
In the
and
movie,
they've molded it to be broken for the minifig. And I think that's just hysterical. He's got this bizarre broken helmet because these little guys here, especially, here's the guy that Benny was molded off of course, is the actual little blue minifig. And the first gen of these helmets, so thin right here, and I mean, I don't know how many of these guys have broken helmets because of the fact that these minifigs just don't stand up for it. But Benny's got that broken helmet, and his little emblem is all scratched up like a lot of these guys over here are. So I just love the detail, the attention to detail, and the fact that he loves spaceships, and everything in that is just great. Put that back.
Very great kids movie.
It is. It's a wonderful kids movie. It's a wonderful kids movie. I give it two claws up.
Two claws up.
Two claws
Two
up.
non-formable claws up.
Two non-posable, but can hold just about any minifig thing. Claws up.
As something that I found really fun with this is I really like the group Lonely Island, which is Adam Sandberg, and I know I'm going to butcher these names, Akiva Schaffer and Jorma Tacoma. They've done songs like On a Boat, Lazy Sunday, Like a Boss, some other ones I can't mention because they're not
Because
kid
we're,
appropriate.
again, family-friendly
We're trying
show.
to keep it PG rated. So it's they were featured in the song Everything is Awesome. So at the end of the movie, when you watch it and you hear the whole thing, you'll hear them adding more lyrics to that. And there's also an acoustic version of Everything is Awesome at the end in the credits, and the full-length version of the Batman song.
Which is just...
Which is great.
It's just great.
Yeah.
I dare I say, awesome.
And the voice of Batman was Will Arnett, who
Yeah.
was huge in Arrested Development, a show that I loved, and came back. They did it for Netflix.
Yeah.
So even though it got canceled, Netflix is like, come over here, and then they did that.
And they did. They brought it back.
So
That's
lots
great.
of cool stuff with the voicing in it as well. So,
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It is totally.
And it's got a little of everything for everybody. I mean, it's good for my son loves it, but more importantly, I love it, and I'm not so sure about what my wife thinks about it, but I know I love it, and I know you love it because
Yeah.
we've talked about it. I've already seen it 3 times.
Ditto.
Yeah, so I mean, we're doing good there.
So we're speaking of stuff that you love.
Yes,
I think we got another episode of The Springs coming up.
we do. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk about why Geek Tank. Sounds good, huh?
Yep.
Okay, join us right after this.
I heard that streaming video is eating up all of the net bandwidth.
That's crazy talk.
Hi, this is Walter Koenig, and you're watching Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
And we're back. Okay.
Ha!
Here we are.
That's-
Welcome back.
I was just laughing at the strip.
Yeah, it was a funny strip. It was. But
Always.
He voiced it, so he thinks it's funny.
The voice actor was
The
amazing.
voice actor was amazing.
People should pay him more money.
Well, I'm going to double your salary.
Thank
that
you.
was such a good job. I'm going to double
appreciate
your
it.
salary
I can
right
use
now.
double nothing.
Yeah.
So,
double or nothing.
So
Okay.
why do we exist?
Yeah,
well,
so
I guess more specifically,
why
why
are we
does
here?
Geek Tank exist?
Why are we here? Why are we here?
Well, I'm here
are we
because
here?
a car drove me here, and I was the one driving it.
Your car drove you here?
Yeah.
Did it have a little red light?
It did.
I'm sorry, Troy. I can't do that. Yeah.
You're getting your geekdoms mixed up.
I can't open the pod bay doors, Troy. I can't open the trunk.
Oh, that's true. The
Hatchback.
trunk doesn't work anymore. I have to use the key. It is.
Aw.
So, Geek Tank.
Geek
the
Tank.
formulation of Geek Tank.
Why are we here?
The awesome web channel, www.iantique.com, which was designed to be a social network for people who are into antiques and collecting, wanted to do stuff to get people into collecting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And geeks quite often, hey, look at that, collect stuff.
Yeah, I've got a little collection here.
And through the chain of people that exist in the world, we were approached and said, hey, would you guys like to do a geeky show involved in geeky collecting stuff? And we're like, yeah, here's how
Yeah,
we
that
would do
sounds
it.
great.
So we were given the reins and put together a Geek Tank, and as such, we are here on YouTube.
Yep.
And
Yep.
iAntique occasionally will have us do stuff for them, and they'll show it before we show it, so that way they get an exclusive for
Yeah, yeah.
Denver Comic Con. You'll see Denver Comic Con stuff on their website before you see it on ours, because
Which is one of the reasons why you're not seeing it yet
you're
here.
not seeing it yet. They're
We're giving
gonna show it
they're
first.
giving them the rights. We're giving them exclusiveness.
Exactly, and then after they've done it, then we'll put it on our show on YouTube.
And we will.
And we will. And so every now and then they'll be wanting stuff, and we'll do it for them. And that's what sort of spawned us into existence. And now we're a Geek Tank rolling through the woods and occasionally launching torpedoes off in that direction for one
Geek Tanks
master. And then
launch torpedoes
launching
now.
machine guns.
Launching machine.
Oh.
Oh.
We should have shot the bullets instead.
Dang it. I knew that.
Poor tank. But we're a bunch of geeks, and we're in a tank.
And that's us. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about why we're here.
Why we're
So,
here.
What's the mission of Geek Tank?
Mission of Geek Tank is to reclaim the title geek and make it cool, which
Yeah.
it's already on that way with like the Big Bang Theory. People are sort of respecting nerds and geeks more, and as an actual geek and nerd, there's a lot of times when I'm watching the Big Bang Theory and I'm like, wow, they wrote that joke for people who aren't geeks to
Yeah.
do that, and then occasionally there's the jokes that only the geeks and nerds will get.
Right.
But we're here specifically for the geeks and nerds and to show how cool we are and rejoice in our coolness and the things that we do.
And connect with you,
And
the
connect with-
viewer.
And it's we have such an awesome circle of friends, and they have all these cool aspects that they just love. And most of us have our 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5 things that we're just really knowledgeable in and enjoy. Some of us, like myself, enjoy a vast variety of things and only sort of reach like expertise almost in some areas. A geek of all trades, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Whereas you love Star Trek,
I'm clearly a Trekkie.
and then after that, you love
Yeah.
space and spaceships.
Spaceships. But I mean, and it's a I've got kind of, and then I head down to all spaceships, not just these guys. Although this is, I might add, an extremely geeky, specifically not only a Colonial Viper, but I like to point out that this is a Silver Spar Squadron Colonial Viper, which puts it in an extremely geeky position because you have to know that. You have to know all the story, the backstory, but it's got the little Silver Spar Squadron wings on it, or the
I could
crest.
see- I could see 'em there.
The crest on the wings and stuff. So yeah, and
And that goes all the way to real spaceships.
and then I go all the way to real spaceships, as we're about to see with
Geeky in space.
This geek in space. yeah. So
This geek in your face. That's
This
for
geek
the
in
really
your face.
belligerent geek that
Yeah.
just gets in there. And
But
it's,
yeah,
but
it's-
that's our core group. And then we realized, well, here in Denver, there's just so many cool people. Why not have a show where we can interview the local geek talent? That
Sure.
Those movie makers, artists, writers, game makers. I believe we have a game
we
maker.
have a game
coming up,
maker in
local
our
game maker.
group. We have a couple of game makers, I think.
Yeah.
We've got gamers,
Mm-hmm.
people who play not only Xbox and that kind of
Video
game,
games.
but also play tabletop.
That's one of my
And-
expertise, playing
Yeah.
tabletop games.
And we all have sort of our different arenas even inside that. I'm a tactical board gamer. I like the tactical board games like Risk and Federation Commander and Starfleet Battles. And you're more into the... Although you play those with me.
I originally started out focused on miniature games.
Yeah, I love miniatures.
Warhammer 40K, then War Machines. My favorite is a game that no longer is being made, HeroScape. And I'm going to Gen Con to compete in the National HeroScape Tournament.
And we're going to root for you.
Woot! And then it kind of just
Root.
expanded. Oh, Root. Like,
Sorry.
And it kind of expanded into me just having a love of all games. And now, no matter what the game is, I love to play it and get into it and then pick it apart and say why it sucks.
Right. So, we were looking at this and we're like, well, gosh, we've got such an amazing breadth of knowledge that we can talk about. I mean, we could talk from Legos all the way to HeroScape. That's
and then HeroScape with Legos.
And HeroScape with Legos. I'm in. I'm in. Let's do that. And then we will air it for you guys. We will make Legoscape, and you will see it here first with us. Why not? But that's what we do, and we figured we've got people who make chainmail in our group.
We have friends, artists who do body painting.
We do. I mean, you've already met Lilitron. And I mean, and by the way, as a shout out, Lilitron actually. She reached
a new achievement
level of geekdom.
So she tweeted her picture, this picture
right here,
of her and her lovely other cosplay friends doing a pinup version of the crew of the Firefly,
right?
From the Serenity,
from
the crew
Firefly.
of Serenity of Firefly,
right.
And it happened that Captain Tight Pants himself, Nathan Fillion, the star of Firefly, retweeted that and commented on it. I'd fly on that boat. And he favorited that, which means all of his friends, Joss Whedon, will be seeing this as well.
Well, and he tagged Whedon specifically, so Whedon specifically saw that.
So congratulations, Lily.
Yeah, congrats, Lily. That's seriously a major geek achievement
Geek
there.
crown.
Yeah. You get your geek crown for that one.
Right. And in our amazing crew, we also have a guy, Ian Kislick, who does amazing work with models, props.
Yeah.
He's made this beautiful Enterprise from TOS.
With
all the functioning lights.
And the warp nacelles rattling.
He made a special stand for it that looks like the console from the ship.
It's beautiful. It's incredible.
And we'll hopefully have him come on and do a few bits on model making.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, and give maybe some tutorials. I mean, the thing is, we can share our culture, we can share what we do and what we know. We can be funny. We can give you all kinds of stuff. We can be entertainment. There's all kinds of things.
At least in our minds, we're funny and entertaining. So
I'm funny in his mind.
And if you have any suggestions, join us on Facebook.
Yeah, join us on Facebook.
Message us.
Rocky Mountain Geek Tank. Whoop. Just find us on Facebook. It's right there. You can get to it. I mean, and this is the stuff that we really wanted to get into. We're very big on what we like. I mean, the things that we love, and there's so much diversity.
And by being an extrovert or extroverts, what better way to just be extroverted than being on YouTube and talking to
and we could
20s of people.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am an extrovert. I mean, extrovert. I get those confused. PG. Pervergerded.
He regurgitated.
Pervergerded. Okay.
So that's we formed and here we are, and we're hoping that we're entertaining enough that lots of people enjoy watching us and will help us continue to go on, because the more people that watch us, the more we really exist.
It's like clapping.
Yeah, if nobody
for Tinkerbell. If you don't clap for Tinkerbell, she dies. So sad.
Never let a fairy die. It's just
PG.
not. It's
PG.
It's just not Sprite.
No, it's not Sprite. No. Would you believe it?
You get brownie points for it.
You would. But
puns. That's where I probably excel as a geek. I am a big pun geek.
Yeah, it's punishing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I issue them, so I'm the pun issuer.
Yeah, you are. They pack quite a punch.
They do.
They do.
So here we are, rolling up onto our last little bit, and I believe you're going to cue that I'm going to Legoland. But don't let my kids know that, because it's a surprise for them. So they're not allowed to watch this until after we go.
That's right. I think you'll be gone by the time they watch it.
By the time they see it.
However, it's now time for This Geek in Space. And we'll be right back.
Forgot about that.
Right after this.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Status check, pressurization. Rock stacking. Hello. 12, 11,
You are go. Order systems, go. Range operation. Country cancel, go. All three-star satellites are correct. The red light is on.
2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
This is Guy with a very special This Geek in Space for the week of July 2nd through 9th from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, standing outside of Spaceport, America. In local news, Venus will be at its brightest in the eastern sky this week, and on July 3rd at 8 p.m., the Earth reaches aphelion, the furthest point from the Sun, in 2014. And on July 4th, Pluto will be at its peak brilliance for 2014 as well. You'll still need an 8-inch telescope to see the 14.8 magnitude dwarf planet. In orbital news, the Russian government will launch a Rokot-Gonets-M on July 6th. And on July 8th, they will launch a Soyuz Meteor M2 carrying a SkySat-2 satellite. In system news, the solar wind is at 359.5 kilometers per second with a protonic density of 6.9 protons per square centimeter. One near-Earth asteroid 15 meters in diameter will approach within 3 lunar distances on July 8th. NASA successfully tested their saucer-shaped LDSD project designed for Mars landing. Cassini is celebrating 10 years at Saturn, and speaking of anniversaries, Curiosity hit its first year on Mars this last week, marking its Martian year of 687 days on the red planet. In interstellar news, PSR J222-0137 may be the largest diamond in the universe. The white dwarf in Aquarius was evaluated last week by the University of Wisconsin. It's a heck of a diamond ring. And that's all we've got from here. We're at Spaceport America. And this is a shout out to all of those people who are here, SpaceX and Virgin Galactic, and all of the others who are competing to get us into space. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. And that's all I've got. This is Guy, signing off.
Okay, that's all the time we've got this week.
So,
And-
as I was saying before, an amazing job there. That was
thank you.
so cool.
That is going to be awesome. That's just awesome. That's just so awesome. Okay.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. No, don't listen to my past tense, future tense. Speak! Time is running out.
I'm going to Legoland. I won't be here next week, but we will be having the Keeper of the Catacombs, Chris, coming over and co-hosting.
Yeah, he's going to co-host with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Franklin Mint, which we think is awesome.
He has
He's got some incredible Franklin Mint stuff, but I've got the geeky Franklin Mint stuff that I want to talk about. I've got the chess set definitely that they had, but I've got another one too that I want to show you guys because I think you're going to think it's amazing.
So that'll be next week.
So that's next week, and just join us then, and we'll see you then. Until then, goodbye. Hey, this is Guy. Making a show week after week is not cheap. Do you want to help out? Go to patreon.com/GeekTank and pledge. You can pledge $1, $5, or $100 an episode. Any amount you want. That's patreon.com/GeekTank. Here, it's on the end. Yeah, right there.
Thanks.